How is it going, everybody? It is the month of February, right before Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to you if you are celebrating it, which of course everybody should be, right? So I wanted to go over the stats for the month of January 2023. Market update. Are you ready? Well, and you may say, it's middle of February. Why are you giving me market updates for the month of January? That's because we don't get the stats until about the middle of the month. So and if the market changes quickly, then that's how it's you're always a month behind. And right now the market is changing quickly. For example, we were pretty much we were pretty much very slow in the month of October, November, December of 2022. And then the market started picking up at the end of December. We had somewhat of an active January until the Fed met last week or so, and they decided to slightly raise interest rates. And now the market is starting to slow down again. So as you can see, the market is very much dependent on what the interest rates do, because it's the same as affordability for the buyers. So if the buyers cannot afford to buy, then the real estate market slows down, and vice versa. And by the way, what I have seen with my 22 years of being in the real estate business is that the real estate market and the stock market are also go hand in hand. Stock market is down, real estate slows down. Sometimes this gets skewed. For example, in the COVID years, when the interest rates went down to 2 or 3%, we saw that the market was actually very strange, and the strangeness of it was because it was affordable for the buyers to buy, and it was also a great time for sellers to sell, because sellers were getting top dollar, and at the same time buyers could afford to get in at a very good bottom line cost because of interest rates being so low. But hey, just don't forget that the interest rates historically for many years have been around 5 or 6%. So right now, if we do have our interest rates around 5 or 6%, it's not the end of the world, because that's what historically the interest rates have been at. So let's go back into some of the stats and let's review some of the stats. Normally, I review two zip codes, which is one is Del Mar, and one is 92116, which consists of Kensington, Normal Heights, and University Heights. And that's because one of our offices is in University Heights and the other office is in Del Mar. And then I usually bring in 92103, which is Mission Hills and Hillcrest, because it's our neighboring zip code. And then also 92130, which is Carmel Valley, and it's the neighboring zip code to Del Mar. So those are usually the zip codes that we analyze. If you have a zip code that you would like us to analyze, please put in the comments, and I am happy to go over those stats and analyze them for you, either privately or, of course, on one of our shows, just like we have today. Okay, so let's go and look at some of those stats that we're talking about, and let's start with Del Mar. So Del Mar, as you can see, we're comparing January of 2022 to January of 2023, and so if you're looking at median sales prices, we see the 3.1 was the median sales price in 2022, January of 2022, and we are down 16% to 2.6 million. And another stat that we are looking at is monthly supply of inventory. So as you can see, in Del Mar, supply of inventory has gone up, but this 50% may seem like a lot, but if the supply of inventory last January was just over a month, and now we're a little over 2 months. That still is not a healthy market by any means. A healthy market has between 5 and 6 months of supply. So we're still severely short in inventory. But let's now look at year to date. So from year to date, which is not a long time, but as you can see, also we're down 16%. So because we're in the month of January and we're comparing year to date and we're just starting the year, these two are essentially identical. So we've been down by about 16%, but let's see how that plays out as the year goes by. And then the same story now, the same story goes for the condos, but then again, this is skewed because we're probably looking at just a few sales. See, we're looking at closed sales of one in January of 2022 and only three in January of 2023. So our stats are not that wide for us to actually say what is really happening. We're going to have to wait another month or two to see what happens. And then, of course, this is where the averages are as far as all of the MLS and the stats for Del Mar. And as you can see, Del Mar is much higher in price because the median price of our county in general is much lower than what we're looking at Del Mar. So let's look at Carmel Valley and see how that compares. So if we're looking at Carmel Valley, now see there's a slightly different story because Carmel Valley is highly desirable. And in a way, it's also a bit more affordable than Del Mar. And also it has a lot more in inventory. So for example, see, closed sales in 2022 in January were at 18 versus in 2023, we're down actually. We're down to 12 homes. But if you're comparing it to Del Mar, where we, closed sales were at 8 and then this year at 5. So Carmel Valley, we're looking at a wider sample. And now supply of inventory also, it's gone up, but not by much. We're still at about 1 month, a little over 1 month supply of inventory, which is not much, especially if you're looking at the overall. If you're looking at new listings, you see last year we had a lot more homes available for sale than we do this year. So we're not doing that great in terms of in terms of increase of inventory. And then, of course, when you're looking at year to date, it's the same as month of January looking at, because we're in the first month of the year. So these two are going to essentially be the same. And then, of course, when you're looking at condos, condos actually look like they have gone up. And this is an interesting factor to look at, because I know that you are hearing the story that, oh, the sky is going to fall off the market and everything is going to go down to cheap. And here's the data. I don't see that. Do you? So on that note, let's come down to 92116, where the market is a little bit more affordable further south than it is up in Del Mar and Carmel Valley. So now if we're looking at here, so you see the median price last year in 92116 was at 1.4, and now we're at 1.3. So we are down about 7%. And if you compare this to, let's say, Carmel Valley, you can see that we're pretty much about $1 million less in value than up in Carmel Valley. So again, we're talking about moving south, and you're able to get into a home that is much more affordable. Now let's look at this monthly supply of inventory. It's almost identical to Carmel Valley in terms of monthly supply of inventory. We're at a little over a month supply of inventory, which is not much. And so closed sales have actually gone up a little bit from 5 in January to 9 in January. So let's see now in condos. Looks like condos have depreciated a little bit more than single family homes, and generally condos don't do as good as houses. They don't keep their value as good, and they don't appreciate as good. And I think that this data basically speaks to that. Let's look at 92103 and see what the story is there. Okay, so median price. Median price in 92103 is higher than 92116, which is something that we know, and it's lower than Carmel Valley, and it's lower than Del Mar. So much more affordable zip code 92103, but it's a more expensive zip code than 92116. Okay, and supply of inventory has doubled. Well, actually, if you want to compare it, 2 months here, 2 months identical to Del Mar, and a lot higher than Carmel Valley, and let's see, and a lot higher than 92116 as well. So let's go back to Mission Hills 92103 and see what else do we see that is interesting to analyze. So let's look at condos. If we're looking at condos, looks like condos have also depreciated, which is not a surprise because homes have depreciated, condos have depreciated. What is interesting is homes have depreciated at a higher rate, 10%. They have come down by 10%. Condos only have come down by 1%. And if you're comparing this to 92116, you can see that 92116 has actually come down less than Mission Hills. So that's also interesting to take a look at. And then now, if we're looking at the actual comparison between Mission Hills and the overall numbers within the county, we can see prices are higher, but they follow the same curve as the rest of the county. Just keep in mind that the rest of the county is less expensive because, again, what we're doing with these zip codes that we're comparing, these zip codes are more pricey, primarily 92103, 92130, and 92104. You see these zip codes are more pricey, but if you look here at 92116, you can see for single family, yes, single families are higher in comparison to the rest of the county. But if you're looking at the condo, MLS seems to be actually more pricey than 92116. And I think one of the reasons for that is we have smaller condo units within our zip code. So this is how it skews our numbers within the zip code area. All right. Well, that is my market update. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful evening. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and let me also go over some of my information. Here's my phone number if you want to get a hold of me, or if you like to email me, there's my email address. You can find me on my website at roxannegovari.com or at pemberleyrealty.com. Either one, you can get a hold of me there. Or if you are on Instagram, there's my Instagram handle. And we always appreciate your referrals, your business, and of course, your comments and thumbs up on social media. Have a wonderful evening.